To accept the minutes. Does anybody have a comment about the minutes?
I move that we accept the minutes.
Okay, and I second it. All in favor?
I
Aye.
probably should.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries
Okay,
unanimously.
unanimous.
We don't really have a finance report unless you
It
got
didn't get
something new.
updated. It didn't get updated from the last we
Okay.
talked, so.
Well, we've spent a lot of money on Arts Week. All the things are submitted. The only thing I would request is that we pay Frank $100 because he did the sound for the event on Saturday for the poetry slam, and he was there for 2 hours plus, actually more like 3 hours, and he stayed and made sure the sound was functioning, and so I feel like we should pay him at least $100 for that. Any discussion about that?
I have no problem paying for him for his work. You're now telling us that he worked about 3 hours or 4 hours or whatever.
It wasn't 4 hours.
Okay,
It was
3 hours.
It was about 3 hours.
Okay.
And he, yeah.
And do we have enough funds to make it $150?
Yes, we have plenty of money. We're way under budget.
I propose we pay him $150. It's $50 an hour, which is
Yeah.
very reasonable.
Yeah. I
And
totally
he went
agree
above
with
and
that.
beyond.
He did, and he was willing to do it for free. And we got an estimate, I think, of $500 from another sound person to come in for $500. So $150 is a bargain.
Okay. I
So,
would make a motion.
okay, that we pay Frank. Okay, great.
We need a second and we need to vote.
Yeah, Lori seconded
Okay,
it.
thank you,
Okay, all
Lori.
in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? Okay, motion carries. Okay, so I will, I'll submit that to you.
Yep.
Okay, thank you. Let's see, so, other than that, I don't think there's anything else to talk about the finances unless other people have anything they want to bring up. No? Okay. We'll have to see what's what next month.
I'll be able to send out, by next week, it'll be updated, so
Okay,
I'll be able to send out at least to tell you how much is left in each account you
great.
have.
That would be helpful.
Yeah.
Okay. So the next thing on the agenda is the Cultural District Committee future.
Yeah, so let's dive into this. I sent out an email last week. I got a call from Andrea, and Andrea, myself, Jamie, Mark, and Amanda all met the following day to go over the possibilities. So as it stands right now, it seems as though going into July 1st, there will be 3 active members. Is that correct? Because there's 2 terms ending. So there's 3. We came to the agreement based on the wording within the charge that although it says that you need to have 5, you need to at least have 3 to say that you have a quorum. So
Right.
what we're proposing is, so no matter what, when it comes time to recertify, and ironically, if this was years past, you wouldn't have to worry about this. But the Mass Cultural Council is asking every cultural district to recertify by the beginning of next fiscal year, which means by July 1st of 2027, you need to recertify. Their guidelines dictate you need to have at least 8 members. That's comprised of an economic development person, someone working for the town, so that's 2 right there. So there needs to be 6 additional members. One of them has to be a local artist, so we'll be working on that. But that means you need to have,
She's a local artist.
but she can't also.
Be both. She
Yeah,
can't be both. Oh,
exactly.
okay.
But that's okay,
Okay.
because what we're hoping for is just getting 2 to 3 more members. So what we were discussing and what we were hoping to see how the cultural district felt, the remaining members, is if on July 1st, we would need the approval in the June meeting for you to allow the recreation department to utilize the cultural district funds for just the fall to make sure their programming keeps going while you're on a hiatus for 2 months and reconvening in September in hopes that we get 2 to 3 more members, including a chair. That way, we keep everything afloat, and it obviously would not be to the same magnitude, but we would be able to run the pop-up concerts. And that's the main concern in the fall. And then depending on what happens, it would go into the possibility of the winter solstice.
Okay.
But what we're looking at is the committee appreciation fund, starting on July 1st, would have $10,000 in it.
Yeah.
And then the possibility of whatever's left over in the cultural district grant. So that would keep us afloat to be able to let us utilize those funds until you can reconvene, because by the time you reconvene in September, you need to have already had all the pop-ups taken care of for the fall. Correct, or
Taken care of in what way?
The
schedule,
program would have
finding
to
out if you're
schedule.
going to have a pop-up coordinator,
Right.
you know, all of those things that it doesn't seem that the capacity of the cultural district at 3 members would be able to do. But that's totally your call, that's kind of what we discussed, and the thing is this, the main concern is we all agreed we don't want to see the cultural district not recognized by the Massachusetts Cultural Council for many reasons. But let's also be honest, the financial aspect of an additional $15,000 as
Right.
well as other funds that could become available in the future. So that's something that we want to make sure that we can maintain. So the main concern is probably by October or November to have a full-fledged cultural district with enough members so that we can recertify and make sure that you're good for the next 7 years.
And also to switch over the burden of work.
Right.
So to make sure you as an advisory council.
Hi, Peter.
Set priorities and program kind of top wishes, the way you have, and they're clear. You've got 3 big events. And then
yeah.
figure out how to staff them. So membership on this committee isn't so much labor, but is helping the town set priorities. So you turn into the true advisory board. And the staffing demands, like rec, for arts education, arts events, arts activities, keeps growing on the back of the town because it's human infrastructure, not as volunteers. Volunteers will set what the goals are, what the programming, like the way rec works as an advisory board to the recreation department. We want to professionalize the arts and culture aspect of what you're doing.
Yeah, and I think the big concern that Andrea had that we all agree with is specifically the cultural district. The volunteers do much more work than other committees and other boards. So how can we take that burden off of you? And, you know, whether it's meeting quarterly, whether it is meeting every month, but you won't have as much that you'll need to vote on and talk about because we'll be able to present a report. As an example, for the Recreation Advisory Committee, we'll start at 5 o'clock and, you know, we're in our cars by 6 because I gave my report for 20 minutes, they ask me questions, and then anything that they need to bring up, ask questions about that they need me to take care of for that month, we end up doing, and then it's in that next month's report.
Yeah.
So that's kind of the angle that we were looking towards.
And the other piece is that this, remember, you started as a cultural economy organization from the state that Orleans hasn't really mined. We haven't used it to its full potential. And that needs to be developed with Amanda's Office for Economic Development. And she is beginning to put that comprehensive plan together,
Right.
which we need you to act as an advisory group on so that we grow as economic opportunity for artists and quality of life issues for people in town, not as you're going to host a bake sale. Not to demean bake sales,
Yeah.
but that's not really where we need your brain power. Coming up with Solstice Stomp or, you know, the concerts in Parish Park, yeah, that's where we need you.
And this is for you to sit and digest on. It's April.
Yep.
You have until, I mean, you can make that decision in May, but you have until June to decide.
Peter, you should probably, I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Sit, because one of the things that's not happening is the public doesn't have access for people who are in the audience. If you're a member of the board, you're supposed to be
Oh,
up there.
Okay.
I should be
So-
able to guys long
Hand or you
ago.
got
Oh, I'm good.
Yeah, he's got it.
So for the pop-up practices, are we posting the job description?
You never approved it.
Yeah, if you approve it, then what we would most likely do is move forward in an appropriate way. So like Tom was saying too, some of the stuff may have to be scaled back in the interim, but we would be able to execute the wishes of the cultural district
Okay.
as voted on.
So if you approve that pop-up coordinator, and really what we'd be asking is to provide us with a little bit of leeway to be able to make this malleable, to make sure that this is sustainable until we have a full board that we can decide on the direction, or that you can decide on that direction.
Okay.
Are there particular votes you need from them tonight and next meeting to make sure that their operations can happen?
Next month specifically for what we just discussed, but there is the question of those First Friday grants. But that's a different agenda item, so we can
Yeah.
discuss that
We'll talk about
when
that in
gets
a
in
minute,
there.
yeah.
But nothing needs to be voted on nothing that we need from you tonight needs to be voted on now. But we wanted to be able to tell you this in April, so that
Right.
you could sit on this for, the next month, to be able to decide. And you might have questions, and you might be able to email just those specifically to me and Jamie, and then we
Okay.
can come with answers for the next meeting.
Okay.
And honestly recruit, because the job description of being a member is going to change from staffing events to creating the events and downloading them onto staff.
So staff would actually be putting them into
Putting them into action.
action.
So
So
in other wor-
essentially, like, what we're looking at for next meeting, what the vote in spirit would be is to allow staff to execute the will of the cultural district as laid out in your goals, which are Arts Week, pop-up practices right now. Those are kind of the main ones
Right.
that we have the funding for sure to do. And so with that vote, you give permission to the staff to execute those programs because that's the will
Okay.
of the board.
Oh, okay, so does that mean that you will hire an event coordinator for Arts Week or
I mean, it
not?
all depends on
Well,
funding.
so, one, it depends on funding, right?
Right.
Because that's the first thing. Two,
But those are dumb ones.
I also think that Arts Week, we don't have to worry about until probably November,
Yeah.
right? So by then, we hope that we have a full-fledged board, and this is a discussion in September and October.
Okay,
Yeah.
okay,
Right now,
so
We don't need you to make that, again.
we don't have to worry about that right now.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, we don't need
I'm-
small decisions, it's kind of big overarching decisions to just carry it forward through September with with permission of the board.
And Bonnie, I think where you're going is you're very cognizant of and sensitive to the arts relationships that have been built in the community with all kinds of artists. And that's exactly the kind of thing that board members can still create, be part of, and instruct how the work is done. So it's not going to be each Conservation Commission is very different from DPW, right? Each of these departments has their own way of relating to people, and so the competitive sports aspect of culture and recreation is going to feel different possibly than how the relationships go. I think one of the jobs will be over time is refine how do professionals engage with us? Is it a one-size-fits-all, you're going to do a gig, here's what you need to know about getting paid, here's what you need to know about signing contracts. That can be worked out as we professionalize, and that's the kind of tone setting that the board, like recreation, does. So, it's a slight change of job description for the role of the OCD so that we can maintain members, honestly.
Right.
And this gives you a couple of months to go out and recruit because you will essentially have a different job description.
Okay, so, I mean, this is a silly question, but like details like how many people attend the event, is that the coordinator's job?
Yeah, if the coordinator is there, that would be something that,
That would be, whoever that person is?
Yeah.
Okay. so-
Whatever reporting requirements, right?
Well,
That's gotta be,
That's, that's
fleshed out.
important to know
right.
how many people are attending your events. Okay, so that, I don't know if that's in here, I haven't looked at that, but I'll look that over. I think this will be for next time.
Yep.
Okay.
That's the email
This
from
is-
Yeah,
Tom.
that was.
No, no.
No,
that
this
is
is the
something-
pop-up practices coordinator job.
Pop-up practices.
That was sent to everybody,
Yeah.
I believe, a meeting or two
Yeah.
ago.
Yeah,
And basically, you can all take a look at that and email us directly.
Yeah.
Don't send it to the group,
Yeah.
right? You can email us directly, as many
Yeah.
questions or input,
okay,
things that you'd like to see added to it, so that we can make
Okay.
all those adjustments in the interim and bring that back to the next meeting in a fleshed out version for you.
And we can send it before the meeting, and then that can be voted on
Right,
at
at the
May's
meeting.
meeting.
okay,
That's perfect.
great.
You guys are getting efficient. Good.
These are silly little things, but,
Well, they're not
They
No,
make a
they're not
difference.
silly, it's somebody's
I think
gig.
it's,
yeah, yeah,
it's one of
Okay.
the major issues of
yeah.
the resignations.
Statistics, oh, yeah, well,
So I have a question, just because I'm so new to this. So going back up to the coordinator for pop-up practices, that person would be on site for
Yes.
the pop-up practices, which would eliminate the need for us to volunteer to
Yes.
pass out tickets. and-
Yep.
Okay.
so that person would also pass out well, if we choose to
The
have a
pop-up
drawing.
coordinator would be coordinating the
That
aspects
would
of
be
the pop.
all aspects of the pop-up.
Right, and if that individual
Chairs.
can't physically be there, that individual's responsible for finding
Correct.
somebody to step
Staffing.
in.
Yes.
That's
Right.
that becomes their responsibility.
So basically,
Becomes
it's
their
really-
responsibility.
Sorry.
That should be part of the
It's
job
really
description.
Simplify,
The job description.
we're gonna come
That's
up
part
with
of the job
ideas, and then we're gonna
description.
delegate to you guys to find.
Execute.
Within reason, obviously.
Okay.
Well,
Yeah.
they'll,
Yeah,
they'll
so we
push
have to
that,
put
but
that down.
that's how it works with all other town departments. And if we haven't staffed it appropriately, like recreation for years, we didn't have a recreation
Well, I
program because
know.
we didn't have the
Right.
staff, right?
Yeah.
And so then it's back to the town's capacity to grow. If the program demand is there, we've got to grow it and we have to figure out how to pay for it.
Okey-doke. Okay,
So I think just to recap that topic, you have a lot of food for thought over the next month or so. But one thing that we do ask is please review the pop-up coordinator description that
Yeah.
we sent.
Yep.
And provide us
I
notes.
can resend it.
Yeah, and we can resend
Do
it.
you mind
Okay.
doing that?
Yeah,
'Cause I don't
right.
know
That'd
Yeah,
be great.
exactly.
if I got it or not.
It's, yeah, sometimes I get lost and I get
And
it.
we'll do our best to tailor that to what, your comments are.
oh, I
And
know
that'll be
my
voted
question.
on.
Are you going to advertise it? How,
Yeah, we can advertise it.
okay,
I mean, it doesn't mean that
I'm
you
just-
can't also let people know that we're
Oh, yeah,
accepting
yeah, yeah.
applications for it
Yeah.
as well. Yeah, absolutely.
okay. Great.
Sounds like a plan.
I'm
Um,
going to also ask, as you consider the future of this, is leadership. Because unlike some of the other boards and committees, if you don't have shared leadership, the chair and vice chair should be working directly with staff all the time. So you're interchangeable as leadership rotates. The members who are the three carrying on should step up to leadership, period. That's the key, because it's really unfair to have a person from the outside come in and not be aware of the culture at all. So
And I might-
that's something as you reorganize in July, where there are three of you, and in theory, you'll go into hiatus over the summer, you won't meet, so you may, and you can reorganize anytime. A board can reorganize monthly if they want to, there's no limit on that. But if you would reorganize before you go into hiatus for the summer, it will allow any planning or conversations with two of the three of you, or, because hopefully there are more members before you go into summer, since you can talk, you can bring friends, but that way at least staff, there's communication.
And it might sound daunting now, the leadership aspect of it, but I
It's
think
gonna be easier.
this might also provide us with the opportunity to be able to show you what the new cultural district can look like and how we can form that differently with
Right,
us facilitating.
right. What a relief. This is great. I mean, it's evolving. You know, and I think it's about time, so.
Well, you got us here, Bonnie, honestly.
Well,
You transitioned it, so it was no small feat.
well, we also have a lot of
Yeah.
support from you guys. I mean, if you weren't there,
Yeah.
this couldn't happen, so, you know,
Takes a
kudos.
village, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
absolutely. Okay, does anybody have any other questions about pop-ups?
No, I think so. So we'll continue through the end of June with volunteers.
Yeah,
Okay,
hopefully,
okay.
yeah, okay. Alrighty, Arts Week. Arts Week was great. Did anybody go to anything besides me? Did anybody make it to
I
anything?
didn't make it to anything.
Well, here's my little cheat sheet. No, I don't think it's that one. Let's see. I wrote down all the numbers of how many people were,
Oh, good. So don't we have to report that too?
what?
We have to report that, don't we? It's part of the MCC numbers
Yeah,
when we do
I'm
events?
sure, yeah. I don't know where I put it.
Oh, yeah, Bonnie, they're right here on
Oh,
the top
okay.
sheet.
There it is.
All right, thank you.
Oh, yeah. Okay, so basically, not everybody showed up for the things that they signed up for, the 3 events that they signed up for. So the tiny art class was, it was full, but it wasn't as full as it could have been. But I asked people there why, you know, what their opinion of it was, why people didn't come, and they said, well, we almost didn't come because it was such an awful day out. And the weather during the week was, this was
Awful.
families.
Yeah, it was cold.
This was family. It was cold, raw, and sometimes rainy, and like not a day you might want to get up and grab your kids and get them out the door. But the ones that were there had a wonderful time, and they were running in and out of the building, putting their work, their artwork in the tiny,
Oh, yeah.
the, you know,
That's
flag,
great.
the free little art gallery. So that was really fun, and then I didn't make it to East Orleans because I was, so I don't know how many people showed up there. I have no idea. And you didn't make it? No, okay. The pop-up practices, the same thing, it was a small turnout, it wasn't outdoors, it was a cold, raw day. So, but the kids that were there had a great time, and the people that were there had a great time, so. Paul is specifically a children and family performer. The hip-hop class was filled. And you went to the Town Cove, and there were 60 people there when you got there?
Easily, the place was packed,
Yeah,
and there were people coming when I had to leave, so.
yeah.
Bonnie, what were your top 3 attended events?
That one, well, some of them
limits?
had caps,
Yeah.
so,
Well, if they filled, that counts, right?
oh, okay,
For
so.
next year, I'm thinking for next year's.
So the hip-hop
plan.
class, I think, was full. They were.
It was full, because I remember seeing, because I was gonna check for my
Yeah,
grandkids.
right.
It was full.
Let's see.
The teen band program, what did you call it, not teen band?
Live music, spring blooms and music booms, that's what it was called.
At the Town Cove Cafe?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's with the kid bands, the Catfish and
Yeah.
the.
Oh, yeah,
That-
that's great.
So-
That filled. That's great.
And Karen Pearson said there were, while she was there, after you left, lots of people came in, and there was little kids running around with headphones on so they didn't hear the loud music. But they were all having fun, so. I think that was a really successful thing. I also, I don't know if you know about the extent of the Eco Art Workshop, because I wasn't aware of it until Dear told me about it. They got a grant, the Cape Cod Village got a grant from the Doug Flutie Foundation. So they hired a guy to come in, and he came with his boombox and led dancing. And all the members of the Eco Arts class that Christine teaches there came, hung their work up around Depot Square, and very proudly and excitedly. And then, that's gonna stay there for 2 weeks. And then they danced, they made more stuff, and some people from the public came, but again, it was really cold that day. So, there were 45 people there altogether.
Do you know how much was provided from the Doug Flutie
I think it was
Foundation?
$10,000.
10,000.
I think so, I think so. Yep. And so they were very excited about it, they felt that was really successful. It got a population of people who lives in Orleans, visible, you know, interacting with the public. So that was really, from my point of view, that was a big success too.
We have some of their kids back. We have
You
a
do?
couple of their kids back.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
wow.
amazing.
No kidding. I think I actually did know that, at the
Yeah,
academy,
yeah.
yeah. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
the reason why I was curious is because I know I saw it in one of the papers, and I think it was like the spring guide, that the Eco Art Workshop was presented or funded by the Doug Flutie Foundation.
Except that we paid for Christine,
Yeah,
but the rest of it,
I know, it wasn't
Yeah.
really,
I see what you're saying.
yeah, they didn't delineate the fact that you also, the cultural it said in partnership with, but it would have been nice to also say partially funded by the cultural district.
Well, you know what, I
Because
think
they
that was a disconnect with Ally and me, because I didn't know that until,
No, it's not a big deal. I mean,
No, it isn't.
giving $10,000 is a lot more than,
Yeah.
I think the 500 that
Right.
you gave for
Right.
that workshop. But it's just something to be cognizant of. I'd like you to get credit for the monetary gifts you also provide.
yeah.
And that goes back to our branding and
Mhm.
through the
Yeah.
economic
Oh, totally,
development
but-
office and.
Again, I didn't know about that
No,
Yeah,
until.
no, it's not, that's.
No, this is
Yeah.
nobody's
that's-
fault.
Yeah.
I want to make
Just-
sure that you get credit,
Next
that's all
year.
I was saying.
Yeah.
That's how we promote the cultural district in the future, right?
And she, you know, she came up to me and said, did you know? And next year, let's,
And that's what I
So-
wondered about how you felt about your programming, what you would want to invest in next year and insist that you have, and what you'd be open to,
right.
and a call for programming.
Right. Okay, so the I Spy Walk was canceled because of rain, the first one on the first weekend. The second weekend, they had 3 people. One of them was from, oh dear, which organization? Could have been, I wasn't on it, but it could have been the Orleans Citizen Forum, I'm not sure. But they were very excited, and I think they spent 2 hours instead of 1
Nice.
with Joanna walking around. And they really were amazed, and were like, we've got to make this known, and, you know.
That's good.
So, the Nature Walk had 9 people, so that was not full, but it was amazing. I mean, Andrea Higgins is an incredible,
No, she did, she did
Naturalist.
that one.
she did that one.
Yeah.
So, you know, I guess the only thing I would say about this is I'm not sure how invested the families were in this. That's what I'm not sure about, except for a few events. But otherwise, I didn't,
Were they local families, or were there people?
not all of them. On the Nature Walk, 3 of them were from Western Mass. And the rest of them were local or Chatham, you know, local, relatively local.
I mean, regretfully doing it, spring vacation week is iffy on,
Say that again?
I said regretfully doing it spring vacation week is iffy on weather,
Yeah.
I know,
and
I know,
that's a crapshoot.
I know. So,
So
yeah, it,
you can have the best of plans, but if Mother Nature doesn't
Right.
like you,
so, that's another question is, should we do you want to do it a different week? But,
In May instead of April.
I don't know. The closer you get to the end of school, the busier people are and blah, blah, blah,
but that we do a series of weekend things, as she's suggesting in May, maybe? You know,
Yeah, I thought the weekend part of it worked out really well.
Yeah.
It was much less work this year, in terms of, how many things were going on. And beyond this, there were other things going on overlapping from other organizations that were going on in town. This is only what we sponsored,
right,
so.
That's a good question.
um,
Include ancillary events.
There were 40-ish people at the pop-up on Saturday, on the second weekend, and the Poetry Slam was very interesting, really interesting. There were 60 people there when I got there, but that was a lunch crowd, and people stayed for a while, then they left. Maybe about 30 more people came in, and the interesting thing about it was that most of the poets that came told me that they were not planning to read a poem. They were just there to watch it and, just see what was going on. And they ended up feeling safe and welcomed and inspired. And so they got up.
I want to add, because you guys haven't been around long enough, but we had a history in the previous cultural district. There was an effort by, blanking on his name, he's well known, Bruce, the name will come, to make sure that Orleans had a poet laureate.
Oh, yes.
And it was a regional question because the Cape does not, used to have, but does no longer have a poet laureate.
Oh.
And there used to be poetry events, like in a necklace fashion from town to town to town,
Oh.
and people lost interest in it. So to hear that the Poetry Slam got great, good attendance.
Well, I think it was because of where it was.
Mhm.
I think if that had been at the library, it would have
Right.
been a completely different event.
But note to self,
Yeah.
food, restaurants, great settings for
Yep.
the arts, right?
Yeah,
Food
and the guys in the food truck were bopping to the music, and the bartender came over and said that was the best music he had heard, and he was thrilled.
depending on how vibrant the
Now, you're
programs.
talking about the band.
No, I'm talking
Poetry
about
slam.
Fred Clayton.
At the
At the Poetry Slam.
So the question is, for future endeavor, 30,000-foot view, the idea of bringing back poetry or tying to, are there active programs in the schools? Is it a great lead for seniors and teenagers to be working together in mixed generational workshops? Should we revive it at all?
Right.
And so I just throw that out to tell you that there was interest in poetry a while ago. At the time, there was not, we went as far as to the state to find out what was the deal with, because the only poet laureate at the state level was in Western Mass at the time. The Cape didn't have it,
Okay,
but since we have a history of wonderful poets on the Cape,
we do.
Mary
Yeah, we do.
Oliver alone, P-Town.
Right, right.
Yeah, so it's just for future thought.
Okay, and the last thing was the open gallery night. I went to 2 galleries. That's all I had the energy for. And Addison Gallery was packed, but she had the Arts Foundation come, she had a musician, and she had live demos. So she really is an amazing event
that's amazing,
planner.
that's a great gallery too.
I went to the David Hills Gallery because I'd never been there, and I met the woman who runs the gallery. She was lovely, and while I was speaking to her, a family came in who was going from one gallery that evening to another. So I don't know how many other people, but probably that was the only group of people came in. But she said it was fascinating because they were clearly there not to buy art, but to educate their children, because they had 3 kids. And they were looking at the art, talking about the art amongst themselves. So, you know, in my opinion,
That's a
That's-
success.
that's a success.
I agree.
Yeah.
So, so that's Arts Week. And I haven't talked to Ally about final numbers and stuff, but I know that we're under budget, so we've got plenty of money left over from what we had appropriated for that. Does anybody have any questions about Arts Week? Okay, great. Okay, First Friday is Jamie.
It's kind of as a nice segue to what you were talking about with Addison. I think it's a testament to why this program really kind of ties into that creative economy piece. This idea that these small businesses, when they are able to put effort into providing musicians in their spaces and entertainment and
Yeah.
things, it brings people in.
It does.
And that makes a big difference. And so these First Friday grants are that's your opportunity, the cultural district's opportunity to really start like fiscally helping that creative economy in a very direct way. So right now, you have 4 applicants, and I can print them out so you can have a little, see who's applied and kind of the parameters on the dates that they requested. Some of them have the actual artists that they want to hire. Others are going to be going through Natalia Bonfini, who does, she kind of scouts out musicians for businesses, for events like this. So the nice thing about right now is we're able to fully fund these and spread them out between June and July. Even if we get a couple more applicants, we may be able to still fund them as
Yep.
well. They have until May 11th, and then that's the cutoff date. So again, this is something where because you've already voted to do this program, if we ended with 4, we could execute this for you, even if you guys are on a hiatus, this is something that we can, continue to execute for you, so it will move forward. It is funded through June, so, that'll be something maybe that we'll talk about at the next meeting, is are we gonna carry it forward for, it's funded through July, are we gonna carry it forward for August, September, and December?
Right.
But right now, people are very excited about it, and we've already gotten several applicants, so.
Have you worked with Judy Lindahl with this?
This is directly to the merchants, so this is done through the merchants group and directly to merchants. So merchants apply directly to cultural district, and then the funding goes directly to the merchant.
The Merchants Group works, I don't want to say closely, but
They partner with,
congruently, laterally with the Chamber of Commerce.
and for First Fridays right now, there's a partnership with the Chamber of Commerce, the merchants group, and the town. So all 3 entities work together to put on First Fridays, so.
Has anybody ever talked about closing Main Street for
Well,
First
we-
Fridays?
The goal with First Fridays, I always explain it like a commerce event versus a community event, right?
Yeah.
First Friday is a commerce event. The whole goal of First Fridays is to get people into stores.
Right.
So you want to keep them accessible. By cutting off Main Street, sometimes you're going to be shutting down access to certain parts of town. It makes it more difficult for people to kind of spread around town, to go to East Orleans, to go to some shops, to go toward the Rotary where there are some shops over at that end of town. When you start to create and draw people to one location, it restricts where they're going. So we tend to, with commercial events, with events that are trying to generate commerce, we like to keep all the entertainment happening in the businesses, which is why you're funding entertainment in each individual business. The goal is to bring people to the businesses. Community events are things like the block party, where you shut down Main Street and you invite the community to a very set location.
But they're busing people all over town. I
Didn't they
don't
start
quite agree
a
with that.
trolley? Was it
Yep,
yeah,
after
the
trolley
one or
is-
2
yeah.
First Fridays,
Yeah,
there was a
the
trolley?
the merchants group, is pretty happy with keeping everything accessible throughout town. and the trolleys are a
That's
great
up
way
to them,
do it.
but, you know, as a person attending, I would love to park and walk in different directions personally.
The
but-
thought, I think, is that people probably won't park downtown and walk to, say, Adorn,
Yeah.
or
Yeah.
to.
No, they
Oh, no,
definitely
no,
won't
no,
walk
but they
to a
take
dorm.
the trolley, but they would take the trolley then,
I think-
right? No?
I think it's a multifaceted question,
Yeah,
because
Okay.
number one is coordinating with PD. That means for 3 hours,
Yep,
every first Friday, that means I have to close down, that means at least 2 to 3 details. And then where is that funding coming
Yeah.
from, right? So
Yeah.
that's the financial aspect of it.
yep.
And, I mean, we don't even close down when they do the Halloween stroll for the children, because, I mean, Main Street is
Right.
one of our main
It's an
thoroughfares,
artery, yeah.
right? So it's very difficult to say, to close that down, because even if you do have the trolley, I think access through Main Street is critical for a lot of things. Now, that's us speculating, could we look into it? But, I mean, that would really be up to the merchant group who put on First Fridays, who were requesting that to the town.
Yeah.
I was just thinking because when I drive through town, it's pretty dead at night. Isn't it?
Well, we gotta try to drum that up.
Yeah, and I think that these.
That's the whole idea.
This program, you know, I
Yeah.
think starting the first Friday in June and the first Friday in July, it might be nice if y'all are able to kind of pop into some of these businesses to see, you know, the fruition of this program, to
Oh,
see
yeah.
kind of how,
We've been to a couple, and
Yeah.
I thought they were great.
yeah, they do a nice job.
They really do.
And
Well,
I
we
think,
did give money other years.
Yeah, last year we did music.
Yeah,
Yep.
we did
We
music.
supported music.
yeah,
So,
I'm
yeah.
gonna chime in with another historical observation. At other times, there has been discussion, not for First Fridays, but of closing down the first block of Main Street from 6A down to Brewster Cross.
That's what I meant.
Yeah,
I didn't
just
mean
that block, so
That's-
people
yeah.
could still, and the idea is that when you look around the country at like Charlottesville, Virginia, or Boulder, Colorado, what happens is the foot traffic in a small place gets more intense, because people come and stay in that area, so we
Instead
would,
of spreading out.
so
Yeah.
it would be a problem for the East Orleans
Yeah.
businesses unless, you know, they had a presence there, but for the businesses that are right there and with the parking
Yeah.
lots right there,
Yeah,
there has been arguing for, and again, the staffing of police and stuff, it just becomes a magnet over time.
yeah.
So
Yeah, I get it. I
It's not
see.
something to rule out, it's something to look at as we become a more walkable community.
Right.
Is that investment worth it?
Right.
But you're right, that, I didn't even think of that, but the unintended consequence of people wanting to centralize in that location.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, this is all stuff, again, we need your input on to, you know, our human
I was
and
just throwing it out and
monetary
asked
resources,
because,
right, being used.
because it's nice to have,
I don't know if you
it's nice to be able to walk down the middle of the road
Got it.
wherever you want.
Well, I also think that the reality is that we are a population of very lazy people. And people want their cars. I mean, they don't want to get on the trolley. You know, it might be fun for, if you've got kids and the trolley's kind of cool. We should get the funk bus.
Don't joke, that's.
I'm not joking.
That is a great.
It's not a joke.
That's a good
Yeah,
observation.
the funk bus is a big attraction.
It's a very big attraction.
So I think, to get back to the First Friday grant,
The
where we
grants.
are is, you already approved the pilot for June and
Yep.
July. That is what Jamie just showed you, correct?
Yep, to date, this is what we have, barring any additional applicants, so even if we get 2 more applicants, we could still fund every applicant. And then, you know, if we get more than 2, then we'll, you know, we'll just have a vote, and we'll just need an additional vote.
So if it stays the same as it is, what I would need from you tonight is to vote on it coming out of the cultural district grants funds. Because that's where it would come out of. So you could put your vote to, if the applicants stay the same and there aren't any additional, we vote to put these grants in place and you approve them, so I can facilitate that for payment. And then if there is an additional one, Jamie will send that to you all for the May
I'd
meeting.
put that to a vote.
What was that?
So,
I said, I'll put that to a vote. We can vote
No,
on it.
perfect.
Do it.
so what you're doing is you're asking for a motion that these 4 get funded, and that should there be additional applicants, we will then hear about it
Yes.
for another vote.
Not that, because you already voted to approve this But what I'm
Yes,
asking
right.
is the actual fund it is coming out of.
Okay.
To allocate funds
Should
from
we
the
add
cultural-
on to it that with the option to add 2 more? That's covered.
Absolutely.
So let's
Is
do
there
it
a
that
cap
way.
on your spending?
$1,800.
So that should go in your motion. In
That already-
We already voted on it.
We already
Okay.
voted,
But the fund, you're changing money from a fund, so you want to limit the money that's coming out of that fund to pay this. bill.
up to $1,800.
Whatever you
Yeah.
want.
Allocate funding from the Cultural District Grant Fund.
Correct.
Is that correct?
Because at that point, you guys approved it to go through. Now we're talking about actually where it's coming out.
Okay.
Okay.
So I'm a little confused about this. So they're asking for $300 for June and July, or?
No, it's just that they applied, so they get to,
For either
they get
one?
one date. So some of the applicants said they were open to either date, some
Ah.
of the applicants specified.
Oh,
So
okay,
this allows us to easily allocate them 2 for June 5th and 2 for July 3rd at this
okay.
point.
Your 4th of July weekend was popular.
So Peter, you made the motion.
Yes.
So we just need a
Okay,
second.
we have a second.
I'll second it.
Okay, Bonnie.
That 4th of July weekend's gonna be fun. The
Oh.
second is the
Yeah.
fireworks,
You're
the
12
third is
now.
First
Right.
Friday,
So we have
and
the
the
ability to
4th
set
is our
two
parade.
applicants.
So,
Or
a lot
if
going
we
on
get
those
back
3
to
days.
that.
And we're
Yeah.
doing
Right.
1776 at Playhouse.
Oh,
wow.
wow.
Yeah,
Big
we're
bang for
gonna-
the 250th, that's
Oh, that's
awesome.
gonna be amazing.
As long as it
Wow.
doesn't go above.
Okay, all in favor?
All
Aye.
right,
All opposed?
Great.
Okay, motion carries.
okay.
Okay, we done with that?
Yep.
Thank you, Jamie, that, great work. We appreciate all the things you've done to pull that
The
together.
merchant group appreciates you guys for this one.
Well, that's
Yeah, all these
great,
merchants are
okay.
very appreciative.
So, other business. Joanna asked me if the cultural district could sponsor Candace's new book launch on Sunday, June 14th, from 1 to 2 p.m. at Parish Park, 44 Main Street. She's doing that in collaboration with Sea Howell Bookstore. No funding, just a promotion of an event, or, you know,
Local
Advertise
office.
for it.
she's a local author.
Yeah.
So, What?
There's no money involved. that was
no
fine.
money,
Yeah.
no money.
What's the date?
June 14th, Sunday, June 14th, 1 to 2 p.m. How does anybody feel about that?
1 to 2?
1 to 2 during your, that's not during
No,
your
no, it's
concert.
Sunday, it's a
Oh, it's a
Sunday.
Sunday.
Sunday. Yep.
That's Pride, so if
Pride
anybody.
Week?
Yes.
Oh,
I think
geez.
the parade is the 13th,
Oh,
The
okay.
parade's the Saturday, right?
Saturday.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
Pride weekend.
so.
Yeah,
What time is the parade, do you know?
I don't know the
10.
set time.
calendar's coming. They
I
did,
think it's at 10.
I got the email.
Yeah, they just are starting to roll out information now, but just so everybody's aware, you know, that it might be.
I know that they're making it a whole weekend, so that's something that maybe Candy wants to look into. Because they'll do things on Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. I don't know if that'll pull from her crowd.
Okay.
And I would say what I say pretty regularly, which is,
I knew you were gonna say
I
this.
knew I was gonna say this, I can't get away from it.
Okay, say it.
I think it's great that she's written a book, and I think the launch with Sea Howell is great. Is it fair? Is it equitable? We don't put out that we do this, but we're talking about it for Candace because she's in-house. Is it fair?
So go one level up to policy and announcing local artists in the literary arts. Is this going to become part of your behavior? Because if it is, here's your first open. If it isn't, don't connect.
Because you're setting a standard
It's a precedent, and if it is, then there really should be an outreach, that we do this and people can apply and rather than just doing it because we know Candace.
And, yeah,
Right,
and you
and-
do get into situations where if you say yes, you have to justify a no. So if you're saying yes to one person, you
Right.
have to have a reason because otherwise you have to say yes to the next person.
Right. And the-
Regardless of if you like
Right,
the
and maybe they need to
content.
be an Orleans resident, or, I mean, you know, really, I don't know what the policy should be, and I don't know what the parameters should be, but I
But it
do,
comes up over and over and over
all
again.
the time.
So
And
you
it
have
came
the-
up in regards to the, having a gallery space at 44 Main Street. Same thing. Nobody, we don't have the bandwidth on this committee to do it, but it would have been nice to, you know, put out a call to artists and continue what Joanna did in that building.
Well, I
which-
think you kind of nailed it, Bonnie, that at this point, I don't know if the committee necessarily has the bandwidth to set a precedence or to set a policy.
And I also think the irony
Right.
is the best way to put a call out is to blast it all over social media. So you should use your social media person, who happens to be Candy, to be able to say, you know, we are spotlighting local artists, please submit to us.
So, and also, don't forget, go back to your mission. If the MCC counts literary arts as part of its mission,
Yep,
are you participating at that level with the state endeavor?
right.
And then, and you have another month, this isn't until June. If you want to
Right.
craft a policy, which is exactly what
That's what
the
we
town
should do.
needs you to do.
Right,
And
yeah.
I'm just thinking, John Sims, who ran our Adventure Ed program at Nauset Middle School, he has written a book and he's been promoting it.
Oh,
And, you know, the thought kind of flickered through my head, is this something that we want to?
We have a lot of local
John Bonani,
writers.
who
oh,
I
there
taught,
are, there's tons of
he
local-
just
Yeah.
published a book of poetry.
Hello, you're just
Yeah.
talking about a poetry slam.
Yeah.
So here's a way that you can grow
So-
by policy and by aspiration. You can grow your reach, stay on task with
But we
the
have-
reason you were created, but download to staff and then.
And it needs no, and it doesn't take any, you know, effort on, physically on our part to do anything.
So
So-
what we'll do is we'll take a crack at making a local artist spotlight policy.
And can we agree that it needs to be an Orleans artist?
Oh,
Yes.
Yes.
It has to
Please?
be.
Yeah, and we'll put, what we'll do is,
Orleans resident.
Can I ask one caveat about that?
Yeah.
Originally Brewster did not have their own district, cultural district,
Right.
and we were an extension of
Right, so
them,
it
and
may
they
be
had
considered,
members.
yeah.
So I think you have to, in your
Oh.
policy, tread lightly and openly about,
Lower and outer Cape.
Yeah.
Usually it's lower and
But
outer,
Oh.
if we use the Nauset School District,
right, and then you get into town issues. So yeah, maybe we'll look at lower and outer Cape.
Okay,
so
How do
we'll
you
take
feel about
we'll
that?
take a crack at that.
okay,
And-
that would be great, because it just keeps coming up.
And if we,
And
if
we
we
might as
put
well-
this, we'll send it to you.
Okay.
It'll be the same thing as,
comment back to you,
To us
right?
directly.
Yep.
and then we'll send, so we'll try to get that to you within the
Training
next
each
2 to
other.
3 weeks.
Okay,
So that we'll have a more finely crafted one to be able to send to you a couple days before your next meeting, so that you can approve it,
Your main
and then you
meeting's
can make
been
your
crowded.
decision.
It's good.
okay, great.
Well, hopefully it'll be smooth by the time we get to the meeting. We'll have provided all the information. It's just a
Yeah,
matter
it's
of.
gonna be as simple as you
You're
just
asking
saying
them to
yes.
comment and,
Yeah.
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
they're getting to their
Yeah.
job.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right,
It's great.
okay,
So we can craft that. And this is
I'm a
just
happy
laying the
grandma.
framework to make everything easier in the future anyway.
Right.
So.
Okay, let's see, is there anything else anybody had?
Just the boards in the store.
Oh, great,
Yeah.
yes,
I've, with help from Bonnie, reached out to Kristen Peters at the high school, and she and Ryan Burchell are going to choose a student. So Orleans Cultural District will have a board in the store
That's great.
designed by a high school student. So hopefully I hear from them this week, now that they're back from vacation. So,
and they decided, the chamber decided to have a hybrid
oh, yeah,
event.
that's right, yeah.
So we can talk
I
about
mean, for the
that.
auction,
Yeah.
or?
There's, she sent it to
The
me.
auction's usually online.
Some of the boards
Yeah.
are gonna be in the stores and some of the boards are gonna be in
Only
the
online.
Parish Park Gallery.
At
Oh,
44
Parish
Main
Park.
Street.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah,
Okay.
so the
boards are
businesses
back in
have a
store.
choice,
That's great.
and that means we don't have to
Find a
worry about
place.
where our board goes, because it will be at 44
Yeah,
Main
because
Street.
we can go in the gallery. But I'll see if I can find her email. It was only like 4 stores up,
Oh, that's terrible.
yeah.
So far.
So far,
I
Yeah,
think they got better exposure when they were in the gallery than when they were
I
out in
know.
the stores.
I know, except that the stores want, a lot of the businesses want them in the stores so that people will come in
Okay.
looking for
No, I
them.
Right.
would,
I think
I
that
would
was
either
the-
way, yeah.
That was the discussion was,
Yeah.
and I think that's why they decided to make it both, which,
Yeah,
so far
That's
she's
great.
got confirmation from Sunset Leisure, Cape Cod Charcuterie, Sandbar Denim, and Nauset Lantern. So that was as of the 16th.
No
of
restaurants.
for
April. For
being
boards
in the
in the
stores?
stores, yep.
Okay, great. So, we good? Anything else we need to hammer out? Okay, great. All right, I have a motion to adjourn.
so moved.
So
Thank you. All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
That's great.